What's poppin'? It's the one and only, your friend, your homie, Juice. Wait, and we back at it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If it's not your first time, welcome back. So fam. What we getting into tonight is why this monkey has no respect for squirrels. The title alone caught my attention, and this is about Hood Nation. So I'ma shut up and let's see what he got for us today.
So there's actually a legitimate reason why they do this. First of all, that is a lion-tailed macaque, and that is a giant purple squirrel. Two weird animals.
Hey, purple squirrel.
Have one thing in common. They both have a hard-on for this fruit. That is a jackfruit, and squirrels are able to use their sense of smell to find them in the trees. But the jackfruit is only edible when
that whole really purple.
Squirrels can tell the ripe from the unripe ones. So the macaque will follow the squirrel and let it lead it to the forbidden fruit, and then carefully persuade the squirrel to share by slapping the taste out of its mouth. Her 5 fingers to the face until the squirrel backs up.
Yo, he pimp slapping the hell out of him.
The fruit the squirrel found. Only when the macaque is done can the squirrel get the leftovers. The squirrel does all that work just to get its pockets taken by a primate at the end. It's like if taxes had hands and knew how to use them.
Thanks. Cuz of creepy.
As a society, we should be more afraid of orangutans. As if this ginger-flavored refrigerator ever decides to Planet of the Apes us.
Damn big.
I'm gonna ignore the fact that the biggest ones can weigh 200, 300 pounds and probably phone book record. Let me tell y'all a story on why we should be more afraid of them. So at the Omaha Zoo in Nebraska, the zookeeper showed up in the morning and found 5 of the orangutans just chilling outside their enclosure. Someone forgot to lock the enclosure, so they brought them back in, no big deal.
It's wild.
Except it happened again with the zookeepers finding the orangutans posted outside like Thanos in Endgame. It just kept happening to the point where the head keeper was ready to put someone on unemployment. It's until they found out why. There was an orangutan named Fu Manchu who had found a lockpick and bent it so he could use it as the key to unlock the maintenance door.
A
The
lockpick?
reason it took so long to find out is because he hid the lock between his gum and lips where nobody would be crazy.
They that damn smart?
Sometimes he'd free all of his friends, and while the orangutans were running around the zoo, Fu Manchu would go back to his enclosure and act innocent. It's a cute story, until you realize the 300-pound orange Bigfoot that decides when he wants to leave could easily put anybody in the zoo on CNN if he wanted to.
Bro, that is scary. I didn't know they was that smart.
Choose violence, coffins are going to be on wholesale. This guy has a plan, and I
Oh,
do
no.
not like it. That is an American woodcock, and fun fact, they have some of the greatest nicknames of any bird. According to Wikipedia, it also answers to the timberdoodle, the bog sucker, and the hokum poke. The wild timberdoodle can be found all across the eastern half of North America. After the dance walking, it's believed they do this to catch food. They eat mostly earthworms, and they'll stick and probe their bill into the soil and slurp up any worms they find. And by walking slowly and stepping hard with their feet, it causes any worm below to fear for its life and move around in the soil, which makes it easier for the timberdoodle to find lunch.
That's
and
cool.
It's probably true because these birds are most active.
For real, like he dancing though.
Billie Jean, it's not my fault. The more you know.
Damn.
Yeah, this is a thing that happened.
Wait, that was a goat?
Drag and drop goats off cliffs and then let them fall to their death. That was a golden eagle, and just for the record, it can have an 8-foot wingspan. This guy is 7.
Oh, hell no.
Strong enough to break bones in your hand and crush a monkey's skull. Not only that, but
That's a whole family meal at Popeyes, boy.
Caribou, and as you've seen, goats. Problem is, goats ain't soft, and one kick could break their hollow bones and cripple the bird for life. So instead, if a golden eagle ever catches a goat slipping, first it'll grab it with those vice grips across feet and attempt to yeet them off the cliff, even though they don't let go until the last second, sending the goat free fall without a parachute. Definitely
that's not funny, but nigga just he dead.
Goats aren't the only victim.
Yo, he for real pulled him off the cliff though.
Until the shell shatters on the ground below. And allegedly, one eagle turned a man into a name on a stone after it dropped a tortoise on the back of its head. Goat got hit with a real-life blue shell. Also, this steroid homicide pigeon has been known to attack wolves and run face with foxes because they don't discriminate. Anyone can.
Oh no.
They live by no morals. And
that's a big ass bird, boy.
People on shirts if they really wanted to.
What is that? He for real pulled that man off the cliff. That's the most messed up thing I've ever seen.
Billions of dollars trying to explore space when the real ET is happening right in the ocean. This alien is actually crinoid, which is a type of echinoderm, which is just a fancy scientific way of saying this thing is related to starfish, sea urchins, and sea cucumbers. The free-swimming ones are called feather stars. But like all adults, eventually they have to settle down and be born. Once they're attached to the seafloor, they're known as sea lilies. They feed by snatching whatever plankton mess around and touch those arms, and when they do, the arms push in towards a feeding groove where they get propelled towards the mouth like a conveyor belt. And because the ocean is a walking simulation, the longest crinoid fossils ever found were 130 feet long. And in case you don't understand what that is,
130?
The largest giant squid ever caught was 43 feet, and the biggest blue whales are just under 100.
130?
Steroids have been almost half the length of the Statue of Liberty.
Bro,
some old heads too, with some fossils believed to be over
the ocean is such a weird and scary place.
Because they're older than its rings. The feather star is able to swim even though it doesn't have eyes or a brain, meaning I'm officially out of excuses. They use instincts to swim, with their arms propelling them forward.
It doesn't have a
My dad tried to
brain?
teach me through instinct by throwing me in the pool. Instead, he almost got a baptism and an abortion for the price of one. If the feather star loses an arm to an op, they can always grow it back, and some species have 150 arms to spare. The only off thing about them is that their mouth is literally right next to their anus, which literally sucks ass. But other than that, this breast snatcher is actually pretty cool.
The fuck is that? Is that a deer?
She's a stronger person than me, because my soul would have filed for divorce the moment this thing pulled up on my
Facts.
This goat has a plan, and it is not a
It's
good
a
one.
goat?
From the look of those soul-sapped eyes, closing the door might slow it down.
Boy, it's a demon goat.
Anyway, this is a La Mancha goat.
Well, hello, mother.
Here's what they do. It's just that the outer part is basically non-existent. Also, it looks possessed because they have rectangles.
So they don't grow
But
horns?
to be fair, having this helps them watch out for predators even while eating. And speaking of eating, even though they look like the spawn of Satan's barnyard, they're perfectly harmless because they mostly eat shrubs, herbs, and small trees.
I ain't trying to hear
This
that.
guy, he eats souls and he finna go grocery shopping. Bro posted up like a Jehovah's Witness, but instead of speaking of the Lord, he looks like he'd rather just take you to him. Those are the eyes of a goat that is not afraid of hell.
This is how
Oh.
flamingos feed their young.
Ugh, they eat their brain?
I'm not
What's
gonna lie,
going
that
on?
looks really bad, but it's not what you think. It's not a flamingo putting another one on the news, they're both trying to feed its baby.
How?
Flamingos use crop milk to keep their chick alive for the first couple of weeks, and both the male and female do this. Crop milk obviously isn't actual milk, but it's the lining of the bird's crop, which is where they store food before it's digested. The gut juice is also high in protein and fat, and even red and white blood cells, which is basically the bird version of giving your baby vitamins for its immune system. Penguins and pigeons do the whole crop milk thing too.
Boy, I look like blood. I mean, it's coming out her
Probably already
head.
have. Number one, the reason it's red is because they're dying. Feeding a chick red milk actually causes the parents to lose color, which they get back.
Oh, so that's milk.
On its own. And number two, the reason the flamingo on top is just spilling it on the other's head, I have no idea. To be fair,
Oh,
flamingos bring a small
okay,
inside,
okay.
So they're probably just a little confused.
Bruh.
Which is a nice way of saying they're just a special kind of student.
Got you.
Lights are on, but ain't nobody home. This lizard can shrink its bones. This baby Godzilla is a marine iguana, and they're the only lizards that actually go out into the ocean. And even though it looks like it should be getting ready to put another gorilla on the news, they're actually harmless and eat mostly seaweed and algae. The problem is
That's
that at least
wild.
once a year the waters get warmer and
I'd have
destroys
never
the
guessed
marine
that.
algae that the iguanas like to eat, which causes a lot of them to starve and become a hashtag. So to stay alive, some of the iguanas will shrink and they can become up to 20% shorter. That would be like a 6-foot man waking up a pair of heels short of 5 feet. Many scientists believe they're able to reabsorb their own bones, which is what causes the shrinkage. Now, the reason they do this is because the smaller they are, the less food they need and the less energy
They
they have.
reabsorb their bones?
Once the water gets cooler and the algae comes back, the iguana goes back to normal size. Moral of this video, we eat less to lose weight and they lose length to eat less. Listen here, I'm about to tell you 5 things you did not know about the octopus. Number 1, you know how the man-of-war is basically a jellyfish on juice? That can have you looking like you got 50 shaded. Well, the octopus will strap up by arming themselves with the tentacles of the man-of-war and swing them at any predator or object that suppress them. Basically using the disembodied venom arms the same way a corner store junkie might use a broken
That's
nail.
funny as hell.
Number 2, they have post-nuclearity so bad it literally kills them. After the heat puss hits for the first time, he pretty much goes into the octopus version of dementia. Symptoms include non-eating, body lesions, uncoordinated movements, and the skin around his eyes retracting. This is called senescence, and it means he falls apart from the inside until either a predator puts him out of his misery or he starves to death.
Damn.
Our boy Squirrel has 2 choices in life. He can either live a virgin or die a man. Number 3, octopus will throw hands at fish right in the dome piece, and with 8 arms, there's plenty of hands to go around. We used to think they did this as a
He for
defense
real
response,
punched that
but now
nigga.
I believe they do it purely out of spite. Number 4, octopus will team up with other fish while hunting, and they often choose groupers as partners. They work together and
That's
reap the
cool.
benefits. Sometimes the octopus will switch up and Tyson the fish right in the head, but now we believe they do it to keep the fish honest. It's not confirmed, but it's believed that they smack around their hunting partners to keep them in line and keep them from cheating them out of
He
food.
for real
Who knows,
popped
maybe
that
the octopus
nigga.
got screwed over by his last fish friend that works with
That
his
is
partner
funny.
for cutting his current partner. And
Bro,
number 5,
nature
octopus
crazy.
are members of a group called cephalopod, which is also part of a group called gastropods, which includes snails and slugs. Meaning Squidward and Gary are actually related. And yeah, that boy Squidward is actually an octopus. Man's got misspecied by his own moms. You hate to see it.
I could believe
this
it.
was one of the smallest primates in the world, but I
That's
never
cute.
said what was the smallest. That title belongs to this little guy right here. This is a mouse lemur. It's probably the cutest animal you've never heard of. If you have, it's probably because of this guy. As you can probably guess,
okay.
The baby-faced tree jockey lives in Madagascar. There's different types of them, but the smallest of them all is the Madame Earth's mouse lemur. At about 1.1 ounces, most of them weigh less than a pencil. They also have by far
Damn.
the smallest brain of any primate, and at about 2 grams, it weighs about as much as a paperclip, which explains why Mortis half a century with the mind of a toddler. These morts of the world eat
Mortis
small
50?
insects, fruits, flowers, nectar, and sometimes each other. But they get bodied by almost everything, and one of their biggest ops are person. Apparently, there's a good part of the internet that didn't know this actually existed.
I did not know that was
Also,
real.
enjoy becoming food by hiding in trees all day. Also, lemurs in general have learned to recognize the alarm calls of birds and then do the dash whenever they hear them. I forgot to mention this, but more specifically is a Goodman's mouse lemur. case you're curious, King Julian is a ringtail and that boy Maurice is an eye.
Boy, Maurice
We have a joke
ugly.
to end the video, so here's a baby mouse lemur.
Yo, okay. So that was it? Cool. Once again, hood nature has taught me a lot. I think the thing that I'm taking away from this is how, bruh, like the eagle dead ass pulled a goat off the mountain. That's so, like, imagine that. Like, I don't know where you have to be to see this, but imagine if there's like a shepherd or something and cuz is walking and next thing he know, he just see he see a goat just skydiving, no parachute. And I mean, the goat just like, bad. I don't want to laugh because nature is so cruel, but I would have never imagined an eagle just say, you know what, bruh, you too big. I'm going to just knock you off this cliff. And then, oh my God, that's crazy. And then the octopus punching fish. That's funny as hell. But let me know what y'all thought was cool in the comments below. Also, let me know what other videos y'all want me to check out. Thanks again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Dislike it if you didn't. And if you do dislike it, tell me what's wrong. Tell me what I could do better. Most importantly, stay blessed, never stress. Juice out.